It seems like we've done this before a big game. Welcomed our next guest on, Bobby Smyrniotis, Forge head coach. Bobby, welcome back. You're kind of getting bored of this, right? You must be getting bored of it. Just another big game, the big final. What's going on?
Bobby, just let another team get in there, will you, man? Right?
I was about
Just
to
one
say,
year.
we've got a few guys who have played in some big games here, and they know it. You never get bored of these things.
You know, we were just talking there
That's
about
true.
your opponents, Ottawa, and a team that's in the final for the first time. They're coming off that poor season last year. They've had this great rebound. It's been just a fantastic story. They're going to feel pressure, obviously, the big game, but the emphasis is on you guys. You guys are going to be under pressure. Is that something that your team just like thrive under?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's one of those things that you learn to deal with and become better with over time. And I think that's what we've been able to do here, you know, throughout our journey in this league, and this being our fourth final through CONCACAF League games. So I think have made us stronger mentally to prepare for matches like these in the Canadian Championship matches. So we have a lot of guys in the locker room who have been through this. And the most important thing is, you know, the week running up to this game is just enjoy the process, enjoy what's in front of you. Because yeah, I'm going to say something that's crazy. You don't get to do this every year. We're doing it for the fourth year in a row. But you never know as an athlete when you get a chance to compete. So it's important to soak it all in, to really reflect on how good the season is. And, you know, it's 90 minutes of football coming up ahead.
You know, you talked about the process, Bobby, and let's talk about the semifinal, because I thought it was just, I mean, it was chaos, organized chaos, disorganized chaos, but the football game itself was just riveting. Like we were just talking about it with the guys, like you could not keep your eyes off it. It was theater, some refereeing bad decisions. Okay, we'll go along with that. But overall, it was just, you couldn't keep your eyes off it. It was fantastic. And I thought it was great for the sport. It was great for the Canadian Premier League. And unfortunate, obviously, for Cavalry in the end.
Yeah, no, I think you're quite right there. You know, a lot of times we'll focus on those little things that have happened in the game, but when we actually talk about the football, I think you know, it was excellent. Okay, two teams were doing it a little bit different on the field, but I think it made for a very good game. You know, on the ball, to be honest, I thought we were very good. Our first half was excellent. You know, we haven't been our best over the last month in a consistent way, but I think we've done that in these last two games. And that first half was absolutely excellent. And then the other thing is, it's, you know, in these games, you really have to be ready for something that's going to change a game. So there you are in the 42nd minute, you're down to 10. You've come up with a plan to get you into halftime. And then before you get into halftime, there you go. You're going to try and figure out something else to do, because we're now playing, as Jimmy knows, at Tim Hortons Field, who's just quite big with two less players.
You're 100% right, Bobby. Been there a few times and got my ass handed to me. But I think, you know what, Bobby, when I was watching, number one for me, Kyle Becker should have never been sent off for that. You could see, you know, as he's turned, he's pulled his leg back because he knew there was a man there. Shouldn't have got sent off. And then same again, you can say with Norman, shouldn't have been sent off as well. I think the ref, you know, the occasion probably got the better of him. But saying that, Bobby, I think once you went down to 10 men each, I think that did you more of a favor as well for the style of play that you like to play as well. It opened up more space for your players and created a lot more opportunities. And I thought one player that really thrived was Schwanier. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. He just found so much space, and it was just constantly taking on players and trying to make something happen.
Yeah, he's an excellent player when it comes to the big occasions. And that was one of the things, you know, in the first half, I thought he was very good. And there they had to be very intricate with their combination play with Rezart Rama and Abu Sissoko. And then we just made a decision in the second half with more space on the field to kind of lower our team a little bit. Knowing that Cavalry a lot of times, you know, is not going to be the best in building and leave the ball in one of their center backs. And that eventually will create a little bit more space for Borges and Schwanier. And okay, it worked out.
Absolutely.
Losing Kyle for the final, obviously, I mean, that's you think we're all gutted for the guy, you know, after how it happened. But I mean, listen, having never played football at any kind of level at all, what role can he play in the next few days?
You know, he's excellent. You see him after the match, and he hasn't thought you know, twice about his red card, but just the emotion of this team making the final. And that's the most important thing for him. And that's the great thing he does as a leader. You know, a lot of times, you know, he puts himself second. You know, he wants to be out there. He wants to compete. But the one thing he is the biggest fan of a lot of players in this dressing room. So he knows the next man's ready to step up into the role that's going to be asked of them on Sunday. And we know we've got a deep roster, and we've got a deep roster for situations like this.
You know, and it will go back to that call a little bit. I will give the referee a little bit of a leeway on it, that initially it, you know, without VAR seeing it, I can see why he did it, but also at the same time, it's an important game as well. And I think that knowing the nature of it, the physicality of it, I don't think there was any intent there, but it's disappointing for Drew, obviously, if he does miss the final. I mean, you know, it's just for any player, you know, you battle and you sadly miss finals. We've had long discussions with Danny Dichio about missing the final because he got booked in the semifinal of missing the FA Cup final in the UK. So it's sad for him.
Hey, Bobby, let me ask you this. You know, go back 4 or 5 years now when this league was first born. How have you changed as a coach?
I see a lot of my thoughts have come to fruition on the field. I've seen things that I thought about the game that maybe you needed to change a little bit. But I think the biggest thing is I went from being a pure developer of players to trying to find the balance between both. And always my objective was to win games. Before I took this job at Forge, I never had to win a game in my life. You know, that wasn't my objective in any way. And working in League One Ontario and so on, of course, you want to win things. But the most important thing for me was every year seeing players moving off to a next level. That was our wins. That was our trophies. And then you had to find the right balance because we knew we had everything available to us here in Hamilton, as Forge as an organization, with the backing of our ownership, the stadium here, and everything to really create something that was very good. So you had to find the right balance of that competitive spirit, the fact that we needed to build a culture that gets us to winning trophies, but that we're also still developing players in that process. That you're not sacrificing one wholeheartedly for the other and trying to find that balance. And I think that's the biggest thing that we've been able to find. And then after that, it's just challenging myself outside of the comfort zones. You know, if we've had 18 games in CONCACAF competition, including playing in Champions League against Cruz Azul. And the one thing I've learned is, and in working with this team, it's if you believe in a way of playing, stick with it. Stick with it long term. It's not easy for coaches to be in a position for 4 years, and I'm blessed to be able to do that. And I think you know, that's the biggest thing. And I just try and grow every year off of the challenges that we're given.
One of the things we have to remember as well, that every year this CPL existence has been different, like quite different. Opening season, the Island Games, you know, and then, you know, pandemic, trying to balance all that, Champions League, playing away, home. It was quite incredible. So you've managed to do that incredibly well. I mean, a lot of people, yeah, you've got a good side there, of course, but to do that 4 years in a row and make the final, that's really, really impressive under different circumstances every year. And I know Jimmy thinks very highly of you, Bobby, as well, and what you've done there, and the rest of your staff too, and has been excellent. And I can see they just have the same passion as you do for it, and that's great for Canadian soccer.
Yeah, no, like you said, every 4 years has been different. And Jimmy, you were doing this right alongside of me, and there was a different challenge every year. You know, we're getting ready to play now in a final on Sunday, and we're talking about our week plan. And we've gone back and looked at last year. And last year on the Wednesday, we're in Honduras playing against Motagua in the semifinals of CONCACAF League. We're coming back and preparing to play a final in 2 games. So, you know, we've seen everything in these 4 years, every situation. And I think the most important thing is, as a coach, is also being flexible. You know, I'm very strict in certain things when it comes to the field, but I think my flexibility in working as a youth coach and in development all these years where you're always throwing a curveball has maybe helped me a little bit in this phase of my career.
All the best coaches are bald too. I don't know what that is, but I thought I'd shave my head because
there you go.
I know.
You just need the beard.
About this.
Right, you need the beard.
I need the beard, but it gets too itchy. I don't know.